So grab some leaves and start sketching. As I'm doing this, I'm making sure I have a sharp pencil, and I'm basically doing a blind contour drawing. I am every once in a while checking to see where I'm at. And I'm tracing what I'm seeing and drawing that on the page. I'm just doing this relatively quickly with the leaf that I want to draw. You have to be very aware of the fact that these aren't flat leaves. Rarely are leaves that you find outside completely flat, and so they're going to be slightly foreshortened. So you're sketching it out. You really only need, the most important things sketched in. And then you can kind of place things on your composition wherever you want. But notice there is a lot of variation in the angle. Just kind of trace them along and lay them on your paper. Just notice the subtle differences as you're moving around. Now I'm doing a wet on wet area for this tail of the leaf, and I'm laying in some greens and some blues, and then starting to put in some of the other colors, reds and oranges and yellows. But I'm not just taking one solid color and laying it in. If you look at it very closely, you'll notice that there's a lot of different colors in here. And then the main part of the leaf is all going to be done in wet on wet. So just notice how I lay the water down. And I am going to leave like a few little spots white so that I can have a little bit of light coming into the leaf. Remember that anywhere you put the water down, the color is going to flow. So be careful where you lay your water. Remember that you want to drop in at least 5 colors. Look at where the colors kind of are, and if it's a smaller area, you can use a smaller brush so you're not picking up as much color. If you only want there to be just a little tiny bit of dark, for example, you could bring in just a little bit of like purple or blue with a smaller brush, a little bit of green that might mix into like red because it's a complementary color. But you have control with the amount that you're adding in here. And then you're going to mix it not by brushing it together, but by moving the board. So move it, and you can move it as much or as little as you want. Sometimes it will do a lot just on its own, and when you're happy with it, you stop. I'm doing another area, I'm just dropping in my wet. I'll decide what colors to put in this. I'm adding just a little bit of blue there with a smaller brush. A little bit of green with a smaller brush. Little brush, and I'm just touching up on the edges just to kind of move the water so that that paint will flow into those areas that I maybe just didn't quite get enough. And now I'm moving my board until I'm happy with it. Next, I'm going to add on one of the leaves that is completely dry right now. I'm going to add a little bit of wet on dry over top of an area that's completely painted. I'm just adding a little bit of texture here first with a little bit of salt on this one. So now I'm mixing a little bit of paint just in this tray to do some wet on dry over top of an area that's completely dry. It has to be completely dry. I had done this earlier. You can actually see where my cat went and walked over it while it was still wet. So you can come in and just add a little bit, and notice how if I want these to mix together, I have to touch them. And so that's how wet on wet works.